So, dear friends, I'm really happy to share with you that from September 2024, there will be a new astrology group that I will be teaching. So in this video, I want to present to you what is this course about, how it will be different from previous or other courses, and basically to understand if you are interested, if this method resonates with you. I will walk you through the curriculum and all the other details that would be helpful for you. Astrology is the love of my life. Astrology is the brightest, most important, it's like a ray of light through my whole life. So for me, this is about so many things. It's about understanding the cosmos, understanding ourselves, learning about ourselves through the cosmos and the other way around. So it's the best thing I can recommend anyone who wants to go deeper, understand more, find meaning. And there are so many benefits from learning and immersing into astrology. But the most important is that this is the greatest tool for growth and development and transformation. So the new training will be very in-depth and will focus on three major pillars. Actually, I will share my screen so that we can look at the main information here and we can explore it. So the three major pillars that this course will be based on: the science part, the intuitive part, and the art part. If you don't know me, I'm someone who has a very strong Capricorn and Pisces energy. So for me, those are two extremely helpful energies. It's not easy to combine them, but when you can find constructive ways to use them, it's absolutely incredible. I would say miraculous. And this is also kind of like resonating in my work. That's why I'm sharing it with you. So the science part, what I mean here is that you need to know the right information and knowledge. Without it, you cannot be a good astrologer or great one or extraordinary. Absolutely impossible. If you want to do good, deep astrology, you need the right information. You need all the technical details, the tools, the methods, the approaches, this logical, concrete perspective. Really, it's like any science where you just need this preparation with the right information and knowledge. But all of this should be structured and organized. It should be like a system, a method, something that is complete and something which is giving you a foundation, which is giving you, this feeling that you have something to rely on, something to step on. If you have learned some astrology or if you have practiced some astrology, this could be a common problem you might have faced with, that there could be tons of information, like different sources, different perspectives, and it can get chaotic. You may get lost in too much information, especially when the information is not reliable. You just get lost in it. So the first pivotal point or pillar in this training is to give you a structured, organized system, something which is complete, something which is concrete, something that gives you this right shape and form that you can use. It's not limiting, it's not restrictive, it's just giving you foundation and it's like a field from which you can expand after that. So this is the first thing that the course will focus on: the science part, the right structure, organized system, and concrete approach. The next part, which I call the intuitive part. The intuitive part allows you to learn to use your intuition, to look at the chart and to be able to get some information without diving into the details, without exploring what this indication means, what the other means. It's more about learning to interpret the chart as a picture, just as a visual perception. I can tell you that this can make all the difference in your understanding. When you learn to kind of like communicate with the chart in this way, you really get things that otherwise you cannot get. You can find which are the areas of focuses where the energy goes, and generally how the energy flows within the chart. This part, I want to clarify that it works better if you know also the science part. So in other words, you are well prepared with the technical stuff. You know, for example, this planet, this house, what does it mean? And then also when you look at this as a picture, as something visual, you learn to feel how the energy flows. And then when you use the knowledge and the information you have, you connect the dots. So this really makes the work more complete and much, much deeper. And the last of those three pillars is what I call the art part. And this is incredibly exciting and interesting. Here is where we learn to put the different pieces together. The science part, the technical stuff, allows us to see the details, what this aspect means, what this planetary position means, some kind of accentuated house, for example. So we see like different details or like little flows in our life. But then the real art is to put all of this together, to see how it works together. Because we have one major principle in astrology: nothing disappears, nothing goes away. Even if you have contradictions, you have to find the right places and see how they will work, but nothing really disappears. So this last part allows you to, I like to call this to paint a picture with words of someone's profile and someone's life. And this is absolutely incredible when you get in touch with it and you dive into it and you become better and better within this. So those are the three major focuses that we will keep during this training: organized, structured knowledge that you can rely on, like a stable, clear foundation; learning how to add the intuition, how to connect and feel the energies, and also turning astrology into an art. But this art, again, requires all the previous parts. So we are learning to paint this picture with words and to have this complete understanding and to know where we put the different details we have already found. So that's just incredible. And yeah, I'm really excited that this opportunity is something we will explore together. Next, who is this training for? You can be a total beginner. It's perfectly fine because we will start from the ABC. We will start from foundational principles, symbols, glyphs, like everything you need will be covered. Also, if you already have some experience with astrology, but you need this structure, you want this method, you want something that will help you to organize things and put them together, then this is also a great place for you. And if you are already familiar with astrology, you have some understanding, or you're practicing astrology, but you want to perfect your skills, and most importantly, you want a deeper flow. What do I mean here? Astrology is something that you learn better in groups. If you are already familiar, you know that Astrology is related to Uranus. Uranus is related to groups, societies, communities, and things like that. So astrology is mastered, learned deeper when you are part of a group. And when there is someone who has more experience, deeper knowledge, or some other skills that they are bringing for the whole group. So even if you already have experience and knowledge, to be part of such a group can help you basically to become better at what you are already doing. So it makes sense even for people who already have some understanding in astrology. The details, so we will have live Zoom meetings starting from September until June. The first class officially will be on the 15th of September. The plan is to have the sessions regularly on Sunday around 11 a.m. Eastern, but schedule and time may vary. So that's the starting point, and we'll see from there. We will have some breaks around holidays, which is also understandable. Each month, there will be an extra day which will be dedicated only to practice. So this is something that I will integrate and add more into the course. Practice working with real charts and basically applying what we have learned with real people and real horoscopes. So at least once a month, we will have an extra day. We'll see how long, probably longer than just a regular session, which will be a day for immersion. Practice, discussions, questions, working with real charts, applying what we have learned. The plan is also to spend at least 1 month at the end of the training only for practice. So we will have practice regularly throughout the whole course, but my desire is to be able to finish with the whole theory before we end the course and to have around a month at the end for practicing everything that we have learned. So applying everything, doing complete analysis of horoscopes and different life topics. And my big desire and dream is to organize an in-person retreat after the training is over. So probably around July or August 2025. This is optional. It will depend, of course, on the students and who is available and so on. So just something as, intention, and we'll see how it will go. The fee is not included, so if this thing is organized, it will be something separate. Next, let's talk about the curriculum. So what will be covered in the course and why? So this is a natal astrology course. It will cover everything you need to know as a foundation for interpreting someone's chart, different life areas, the whole life flow, and so on. We will start with introduction and defining those terms. So what are the glyphs? What is their meaning? What are the planets, signs, aspects, houses, elements, modalities, patterns, and configurations? Here we are just defining them to understand, okay, what is this about? Later on, of course, we will dive deeper and deeper into each of those. But at the beginning, I want to give you the map to understand that, okay, in astrology, we talk about aspects. What is this? What are aspects? Or we talk about signs and houses. What is the difference? So this gives you this starting, I would say, like overview, big picture perspective to know which are the directions, which are the tools we are using. So it's a very good, big picture perspective about astrology, the range of work and possibilities, and so on. We will talk about foundational principles. What do you need to know at the beginning? some of them are kind of like spiritual principles, like the Hermetical principles, for example. But basically, this gives you also an understanding what you can use astrology for, how, and some, like guiding principles that will make your work much more efficient. Next, we will talk about numerology. Yes, the science of numbers. This is something extremely important. It's something really deep. And the numbers are something which is higher than astrology in terms of principles which it defines. Astrology comes after that. Astrology is much more detailed. There are many more things we can find there, and it's like more descriptive. Numerology and the numbers, they are more like this principle, the other principle. They are kind of like broader, but they are extremely important and foundational. And I want to add this information because it will help us to understand astrology better. And you will see, for example, it will help us to understand the elements and the modalities better. It will help us to understand the signs, the houses, and the aspects. Very important. So we will talk about this at the beginning. Then we will discuss elements and modalities. Those are foundational things in astrology. That's basically where astrology starts from, where it begins in the material reality. So understanding this, it may sound maybe like an exaggeration, but it's really true. If you manage to understand very well the elements and the modalities, this is probably half of the astrology. I'm not saying that you shouldn't learn all the other stuff. You should totally do, but this information will help you to understand better everything else. So that's why it's at the beginning, and we will pay significant attention to it. After that, we will discuss the 10 planets we use in astrology, the qualities, roles, and principles for each of them, also foundational information. After that, introduction to the 12 signs. Here, we will discuss the signs, the zodiac signs, as one big process which has 12 steps. Very, very interesting, and you will understand so much about generally, the development in life. Like, this will be extremely interesting. You will see. After that, we will talk about introduction to houses. So here, it's not about going deep into each house. It's like a general overview. We will talk about, the different groups of houses, how we can organize them, like areas, and the foundational information. So we are just starting with the major components in astrology. And as I said, we talk about the numbers, which gives us this higher perspective. We talk about element modalities, the planets, signs, not individually going deep into each of them, but seeing them as a general picture and a whole process, which gives you a very different perspective. And then the same thing with the houses, seeing this general picture about the houses. After that, something very, very, very special, which is called meta-zodiac. This is such a deep knowledge that you can explore it, I think, during your whole life. But I will give you the foundation and we will see the logic. After that, you can keep exploring it deeper and deeper. Basically, the meta-zodiac explores how each sign includes the rest of the 11 houses and in what way. And you will see that this gives you so much depth in terms of understanding each of the signs, because you understand where is the place of each of the other signs in the psychological profile, the experience of each sign. So very, very deep perspective that allows you again to feel the signs much, much deeper. Next, we will talk about introduction to aspects. Here, the information, the knowledge about numerology will be really helpful. This is something that will really allow you to understand what are those aspects, what is their meaning, the different groups of aspects we are using. I'm using many aspects in my work and different groups. So here is what we will talk about. Next, we will discuss the astrology patterns, which is related to this big picture perspective. So how the chart looks like, to learn to kind of like analyze it and to get a proper perception of the energy flow by looking at the chart, by understanding, okay, for example, everything is spread all over, or we have concentrated areas, or maybe 2 areas of planets, or that's what we explore. And there are concrete patterns, and they have a meaning, and they have very, very deep processes that they define in our life. The aspect configurations is about groups of planets which work together. We explore how they work in harmonious, disharmonious way. Are they bringing strength, or are they bringing more soft, gentle, but creative energy, or are they bringing ups and downs and changes? So depending on the aspect configuration, we can see those, I would say they are like highways in our life when we have such configurations, and depending, of course, on what are they. So we will explore this. Next, we talk about lunar phases, speed and direction of planets, morning, evening planets, burnt Cassini planets, and other details, just technical stuff we need to know. I won't dive into it right now. Next, we'll talk about the rulership dignities of the planets in different signs and planetary dispositions. This allows us to see how one of the ways through which the planets are connected, and in which way specifically. Here we'll talk about something called chains of dispositions, which will allow us to see the motivation of the person, how it goes, like what triggers what, and then what triggers the next thing, and so on. And this is how we literally visualize those chains of how the energy is flowing. Extremely interesting about understanding, again, the dynamic within the person. Next, we will talk about the 12 signs separately. Here we are going deeper into the signs. So not just as one big process and the different steps in it, not in terms of, this meta zodiac, which is again about finding the place of each sign for the individual sign. But here we talk about each sign concretely. And we will talk about the mythology, the main stories, the main archetypes related to each sign. Very interesting, and allows you to see, like deeper patterns in our lives. So that's what we will talk about. Next, we'll talk about the planets in the sign. So each planet in a concrete sign, what does it mean, how it manifests, what are the major themes related to it? Next, different aspect combinations, this planet with the other planet, the specific aspect, what they bring, how to interpret them. Also a very significant, I would say, like block in astrology. And the next part is about the houses. So we will talk about each house separately, and we will learn to interpret signs and planets in the houses. So this is the last piece of the puzzle. Very extensive information. So this is something that, will allow you to understand the logic of astrology and how to apply it. Somewhere we'll see at which point we will define it based on the flow. But my plan is also to teach you how to calculate a chart manually. Of course, we are extremely lucky that we have computers and they are saving us so much time. So really thank God and everyone who has participated in this. But learning and knowing how to calculate at least a cosmogram manually is helping you to feel and connect to the energies of the planets. So I will put this somewhere at some point, maybe as a separate workshop, we'll see. But I recommend everyone to learn how to do this and to calculate at least their own chart. So this is also something that helps you to see the logic, to understand what are we really doing here. So the last part, what are the options to join? You can get the full course, one full payment of $1,000 or 10 monthly payments of $120. There is another option, which is more in-depth. You get the full course, so everything else that the other package receives, plus one personal in-depth astrology reading with me, obviously for exploring your chart and so on, plus a monthly Astro GSR session. GSR is a method which helps you to transform specific energies within you so that something inside of you changes and then something outside of you will change because of your different actions. So basically, it's a transformative work. You work with yourself so that also you can achieve different results in reality. It works incredibly with astrology, that's what I can tell you. So I wanted to add this option for people who want to go through a deeper transformational process, who want to change some things within themselves and in their life as well. So that's just one of the options. With this package, you get one brief astrology reading per month about the current topics, what is currently activated in your chart, what would be beneficial to focus on. So it's a really, like grounded, short-term overview of what is currently most important for you. And also one GSR session with me, which is about working on something. It could be related to your astrology reading and what is currently activated during the month. I would recommend this approach, but it could also be about anything else you want to work on that currently you feel like it's something you want to change, you want to improve. So you can see here the different payment plans we have, one-time payment of $2,250 or 10 monthly payments of $250. So that's what we are gonna dive into. I'm really, really excited because, again, for me, this is a way to kind of like bring people together and kind of like initiate a mutual process that we are all gonna be part of. So if you feel that this perspective, this approach resonates with you, you are more than welcome to join us. I will put links somewhere, either below the video or in the description, you will find it. If you have any questions, of course, you can always contact me. And the first classes will be free. So you can join for the first classes. You can see the perspective, the approach, how things work. Again, the first official session meeting will be on the 15th of September, and then we will continue until June. So very, very exciting. The training will be updated. So this is a new version. It will be deeper. There will be more information added, like the meta zodiac, like even the whole approach is a bit presented in a different way. So if you feel that you are ready and excited for such an adventure, you are more than welcome to join us. Thank you so much for watching this video, and see you soon.